Hey guys, hope everyone is doing well. Just wanted to make a quick video. I've never done a movie review video before, so I've decided it's time to do one. And the movie I'm picking is one I watched in the movie theaters, which I haven't done in a long time because personally I prefer to watch things utilizing Amazon Prime and Amazon Fire TV, so you can be in the comfort of your own couch. But this film, the movie Yesterday, which involves Beatles music, and Beatles music is a big part of the plot. That drew my attention, and there was an FBE, which is a YouTube reaction channel that had a big thing on the movie as well. And they also had some really good trailers. The movie had some really good trailers, so that all spun the wheels to motivate me to watch it in the movie theaters, which I did a few weeks back. So before I go any further, I'm going to talk about the plot, which there's spoilers ahead, so take note. Anyways, regarding the film, it has a protagonist, played by Himesh Patel. This guy, Jack Malik, who is a starving musician. This takes place in England, in the UK, and he's your typical starving musician trying to make it big in the music world, but he's stuck playing a number of small gigs. He has a manager, played by Lily James, whose name is Ellie, and there's a bit of what you call sexual tension between them, but at the beginning of the movie they keep it professional, of course, and they're just friends. So long story short, he's coming back home, I think, from a gig that he did that he was very disappointed in. Not a lot of people showed up, and he's riding his bike, and then suddenly, for some reason, across the globe, all electricity goes out for several minutes, and because of that, I guess the signal lights or whatever didn't work, and because of that, a city bus that was driving along the road, the same road that he was riding his bike on, and basically the city bus hit his bike. He flew in the air due to the impact, and he lands, hits his head, etc., loses a few teeth, and then next thing he knows, he wakes up in the hospital bed, and he slowly recovers, and he soon discovers that he has a little get together with his friends, and then he plays the Beatles song Yesterday, which is the title song of the movie, and because of that, he discovers that he's in a world where people don't know who the Beatles are, and it's a weird premise. It's a bit sci-fi, and more on the fantasy side, science fiction, science fantasy. That I guess he got transported because of that impact into a world where no one knows who the Beatles are, and because of that, he types on Google, and then who are the Beatles, and then it shows the actual bug beetle, and because of that, then he proceeds to in his infinite wisdom, decide to capitalize on that fact, and then he begins to try to remember all the Beatles songs that he knows and pass them off as his own. So he tries to remember all the lyrics, all the music, etc., etc. And because, of course, Beatles music is so touching to a lot of people, that he starts getting success in his life regarding his musical career, because the Beatles music is so good, no one has ever heard it before, and then it's like, wow, who is this prodigy that knows all this music? And anyways, it's a bit of a rom-com as well, because there's the sexual tension between him and his manager Ellie, which plays out over the course of the movie. When you watch the trailer, it suggests there was a third character, which most of these rom-coms have, a sort of a love triangle. And apparently that was cut out of the movie for some reason. So the end result is you're watching a movie which supposedly had a love triangle, except it's not really. So certain parts of this the sexual tension of the movie, it doesn't really make sense, because of course there was a missing third character involved that was edited out of the film for some reason. I did read an article that stated so yeah, the sexual tension parts and the budding romance between the Jack Malik character and his former manager Ellie, it seemed kind of weird. Also, towards the end of the movie, there's a scene that's completely unnecessary, which is a scene where it involves John Lennon, and then he goes visits a like 70-something-year-old John Lennon, and John Lennon's alive. Big mystery there, and it's kind of weird. I don't think it was appropriate for the film, and I'm not sure why it was included in the film. Overall, it was weird. And said John Lennon, of course, was not married to Yoko Ono. So kind of weird. Regarding the music, it was really cool. Of course, Himesh Patel has a really great voice. He played most of the Beatles songs pretty straightforward, as they're originally composed to be by the Beatles. There was not a lot of variation in his versions versus the Beatles versions. He played it pretty straight up. And yeah, it sounds really good. The music portions of this, the music montage portions of this movie are really, really good. And if you're a Beatles fan at all, casual or hardcore or whatever, you're gonna love those portions of the film. Plot-wise, of course, it's kind of weird, because you're living in this fantasy land where no one knows who the Beatles are. It also reveals that no one smokes, or no one knows anything about smoking cigarettes, which is, I don't know, it's some crazy parallel universe. Who the heck knows? And at the end, where because Ellie was going out with one of his because he had an original producer that produced like a demo tape for him with "I Want to Hold Your Hand." Ellie ends up going out with that producer, and then there was another girl that liked said producer, and then at the end of the movie there was this big concert, and the Jack Malik character, played by Himesh Patel, he goes on big screen and reveals his love for Ellie, and then they meet backstage at a tunnel where said manager guy, said producer guy, just lets lets Jack Malik have his girl, and then he takes on this other girl, all in a matter of like 5 seconds. It's really weird, and it feels kind of wrapped up in a bow, and obviously very unrealistic. But it tried to wrap things up a bit fast. Maybe that was a lot of it. Probably has to do with the editing. So yeah, overall, I give the movie like a 3.5 out of 5. The portions of Beatles music are all really, really good. And if you're a fan of the Beatles, and you have nothing to do and time to kill, 2 hours to kill, I definitely watch this movie. But plot-wise, it's kind of shaky. There is a few unnecessary scenes like this John Lennon portion, and then the romance between him and Elliot does feel kind of weird, and of course I think a lot of that's attributed to the fact that there was a love triangle in the movie that they cut out. But if you watch the trailer, you can clearly see that there was a love triangle, and it's just weird that they edited that out of the movie. It makes for a cleaner, quicker movie, but it's just a weird element. Anyways, I give it a 3.5 out of 5. Would I watch it again? Probably not. Now the soundtrack's really good, so Himesh Patel, he's a good good musician. He has a good voice and a good singing voice, and he's a pretty good actor. But unfortunately, plot wise, you're dealing with a parallel universe here, so things can get a bit wonky, and plot wise, it kind of went in weird directions. Other than that, it was a good time. First time I had been in a movie theater in quite some time, in a long time, a few years. I like how movie theaters now, a lot of them have the full recline seats, which are really, really cool. Overall, would I watch the movie again? Like I stated before, probably not. But if you're a Beatles fan, or you like parallel universe types of films, I'd recommend you watch it. 3.5 stars out of 5. Alrighty, that's all I have to say for now. So have a good one, guys. Adios.